Happy Easter, everyone. My name is Pam Lambert, and I am a practitioner at the Center for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral. And thank you so much for joining me this morning for meditation on Easter Sunday. So what came to me a couple days ago was the idea of, I woke up thinking about renewal. And then I got an email from Reverend Shell saying, we're going to talk about renewal and rebirth today. So there is only one mind. So I invite you to relax, settle back, take a few deep breaths, settle in. We'll meditate for about 15 minutes. And I'd like to guide you a little bit this morning. Just go on a little trip with me. So if you feel comfortable, close your eyes. I'll do the same. And let's take a few deep breaths. Settling in. On this grand and glorious day. It's always beautiful in Florida. And today is an extra special day. It's even more beautiful. So I invite you to come with me. I'm going to go down in my mind to our dock. I live on the river. I'm so fortunate. And I look out and see that beautiful river. And today I'm going to walk down to the dock and just sit on the bench and see the beautiful nature as it drifts by. The sky is beautiful, beautiful blue with big white clouds. I can look and see if they make any kind of designs that I'd like to create, shapes or think of shapes. What do I think they look like? I can look across the river and see the houses and boats. Occasionally a boat will come by. It's beautiful. The air smells clean. It's renewing and rebirthing itself all the time. Not just on this Easter Sunday. But there's been perfect health is being revealed in the air that we breathe. And I look at the water. The water looks blue today. Someone told me the reason our water, I was disappointed thinking it's so dirty because it looks brown. But the brown comes from the mangroves. That's a wonderful thing. The mangroves are precious and very valuable for this river. And the mangroves are renewing and rebirthing also. And the water is becoming clean and clear. It's rebirthing and renewing itself. And as I sit on my bench, I know that I too am also renewing and rebirthing. Every cell in my body is being replaced continuously with another perfect, beautiful cell, the divine cell, rebirthing and renewing. And as I just enjoy the beautiful river flowing by, I see some kayaks coming by. They're so beautiful, bright colors on the blue water. Neon green and hot pink and blue kayaks coming by. And the people in them are having such an easy time paddling because there's no waves, not even a ripple. It's just very calm and peaceful out today. And as I think about it, the beauty of what I'm seeing, I think about the unity and the harmony of all nature and us with nature. And I think about how we're giving nature the opportunity to heal and to renew and to rebirth, just as we ourselves are doing that and have the opportunity to just go inward and take time for ourselves. Maybe we haven't had that for years, the time to slow down. So then I think about how I've been slowing down and how everyone around me is slowing down and just thinking and being. And I think about our whole country is doing the same thing. And the other countries, we are all experiencing the same conditions. The same conditions, which makes me realize how much we are the same, how much we're dependent on one another, how there truly is unity and just one thing. So as I sit on my bench out by the river looking out and reflecting, I invite you to go into the silence with me. It's so quiet, but I hear the birds singing. They're so happy. They're talking to one another. I think they're being renewed too. I know they are. So as I invite you to gently, so gently with yourself, return to the room, return to your surroundings, return to Easter Sunday, refreshed and renewed and ready for the day. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.
Hello there. Happy day and welcome to the Sunday morning presentation from the Centers for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral, Florida. I'm Associate Minister Reverend David Renee Jennings.
And I'm Music Director Vicki Jennings. We wanted to let you know wherever you are on your spiritual journey. We're so glad you've chosen to join us this morning. Let's do our blessing, shall we? Hands of power in the air, here we go. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. We know who you truly are. You are the spiritual image and likeness of God. We appreciate you, we love you, and we are grateful for you. Welcome to the Center.
Don't forget to stay tuned for an empowering message from Reverend Shel Redfern, and tune in each weekday to our Facebook page for fresh content, a reading, and a prayer treatment. All happiness and health, all the best. Be well.
Good morning and happy Sunday, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Doesn't matter where they come from. Doesn't matter what their name. Doesn't matter what they look like. If they've been unjustly blamed, it doesn't matter how they're different, doesn't matter how they pray. The only thing that really matters is that you love them anyway. Love them anyway, each and every day. No matter what they say, love them anyway. Love them anyway, each and every day. No matter what they say, love them anyway. Love them anyway that you can, and you will discover. Love them anyway that you can, you'll find it's true. There is something deep within that you'll uncover, and that thing within is always loving you. Doesn't matter how they're different, doesn't matter how they pray. The only thing that really matters is that you love them anyway. Doesn't matter if they're many or if they're standing all alone. It doesn't matter their advancement or if their tools are made of stone. It doesn't matter if they're richer, doesn't matter if they're not. It doesn't matter if their homeland is freezing cold or blazing hot. Love them anyway, each and every day. No matter what they say, love them anyway. Love them anyway, each and every day. No matter what they say, love them anyway. Love them anyway that you can, and you'll discover. Love them anyway that you can, you'll find it's true. There is something deep within that you uncover, and that thing within is always loving you. Doesn't matter how they're different, doesn't matter how they pray. The only thing that really matters is that you love them anyway. The only thing that really matters is that you love him anyway. Have a great day, everybody, and stay safe.
Hello there. I'm Reverend David Renee Jennings, and I'll be sharing with you a reading from Science of Mind 365, April the 12th. In the way of righteousness is life, and in the pathway thereof there is no death. From Proverbs 12:28. You and I should look across the new horizon of the great possibility that resides within us and meet the living God and feel the embrace of his presence and come at last to know the infallibility of his power. From out of the great mind that God is, the way of life is made perfect and straight and immediate. It is made happy and whole and prosperous. We should awake to the living presence of the eternal God within each of us and enter into a realization of a new peace and a new joy as we come to surrender all littleness and all fear and all doubt. That great river of life flowing from the mind of God will renew our vigor, remake our strength, ennoble our being, heal our bodies, and bring peace to our hearts. As our thoughts are cleared of all that is unlike him who created us, they become receptacles for the outpouring of all that is good, all that is wonderful, and all that is true. God's love always embraces us. His wisdom is always within us, and his joy is ours to share. Abundance is everywhere. Abundance is everywhere. Let's take these ideas and thoughts into prayer. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. One presence, one power, and that singular presence and power is God, and God is love. Unconditional love expressing in the never-ending moment of creation, expressing as all there is. God the good, unconditional love expressing as all there is. We are one with and part of this singular expression, this singular power, this singular love. And when we stop and remember who we truly are, we are lifted, we are empowered, we are healed, we are cleansed. We know peace, we know joy, we know the best that life has to offer. We know true love, true unconditional love, as we open our hearts and make a welcoming place for God awareness, for God consciousness, for the love that is God to pass in, through, and as us. We just take a moment and remember that we are God's love in expression, in action, right here and right now. Taking a moment in the silence to feel that love coming into my beingness, filling my heart, filling my mind, filling my soul, passing through me, blessing me and all those I come in contact with. I know God is good. I know life is good. I know that there is peace. I know there is joy. I know there is power. I know there is beauty, life, light, and love, all moving through me with and as God. God awareness, God consciousness, God's love in, through, and as me. Knowing this truth, all doubt, all fear, all dis-ease falls away into the nothingness from whence it came. I am whole, I am perfect, I am complete. With the awareness of God, with the consciousness of God always in the forefront of my mind, I walk in the living light of God's love shining in, through, and as me. blessing me always and blessing all those I come in contact with. Knowing this is done, knowing this is already so, knowing this exists truthfully in spirit and in expression into my life and into the world, I release it into the law that always works, into the process of becoming. And with joy and confidence and gratitude, join me in grounding this by saying, and so it is. All health, all happiness, all joy. Be well. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody, and happy Easter. I am just delighted to be with you on this Easter Sunday morning. I don't know about you, but Easter brings about a lot of memories for me. It was a big day in our household when I was young. It used to be that would be one of the times that we would go to church. We were regular churchgoers when I was very young, and then as the kids got older and my parents' value structure changed, we would go 2 times a year, like many others, Easter and Christmas. So Easter was a day that we would head to church. It was also the day, my favorite Easter memory, of the great Easter basket hunt. And this happened every year at my house. In fact, it happened every year at my house until my brothers were in high school. I think all the way through Kevin's senior year, potentially even beyond that. I was in college, and my mom and dad would hide our Easter baskets every year, and we'd have to find them. Now, we didn't have like those big handled Easter baskets. No, my mom would use the baskets like we'd put bread in and serve things on the table with. So there were a bunch of different sizes. There'd be the long, skinny thing that the loaf of bread would go in. There were several round baskets, some tall, some short. And so the only question that we were allowed to ask was, which basket shape is mine? And they could tell us what our basket shape was, and that would help us narrow down where it was. So it was this big, big, big contest between the parents and the kids, who could outsmart who could find their baskets first. And it was so much fun. So Egypt is a big time of joy for me. A lot of times, too, we would go to my grandparents' house, my mother's family up in Nisita, and a couple of my cousins have been watching these recordings, and I know you guys remember this, too. And it would start out that Grandpa and my aunts would hide all the Easter eggs when I was younger. But I'm the oldest of all the grandchildren, so as I got older, then they would task me to work with them as well. And I have 40-some cousins. That's a lot of Easter eggs, you know, and so we'd hide them all in Grandpa and Grandma's front yard and then have to find them. And our names were on them, and that's how we knew whose was whose. And the little ones, we'd put theirs, you know, on the bottoms of trees and stuff, so they were a little bit more obvious, but the older they got, the harder it was to find them. And then my aunts would hide one for my grandpa, and it would be raw. And so he'd have to find his raw eggs somewhere in the house or the yard. I remember one year they put it on top of the dining room light, and it was up there for so very long that the thing actually cooked in the heat of the light. So that was kind of fun. So obviously I have a lot of memories around Easter, and many of you probably do as well. And I think that we can take Easter now and look at it in a different way. For example, that Easter egg hunt, that dates back to early Germany. No surprise, I'm of German descent. The German kids would actually hide pretzels and go and look for the parents would hide the pretzels and the kids would have to find the pretzels. And that was part of the Easter celebration. So we've got a lot of traditions and a lot of symbols that are related to Easter that are either religious in nature or cultural in nature. So let's take a look at some of those and talk about them a little bit. So we've talked about the Easter eggs. We've talked about the Easter bunny. The bunny, of course, is the symbol of fertility, right? Bringing new things into the world. So that's part of the reason a rabbit has been associated with Easter. Well, the other part of that is the moon. Now, why would the moon have a bearing on Easter? Well, the very timing of Easter is based on the moon. Right now, Easter is scheduled for the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox. That's what determines the day of Easter. And that's why it bounces around all the time, because that full moon moves. Well, Constantine made that change. Why? Because he wanted to pull the celebrations of the Christians away from the holidays of the Jews. So let's talk about that some more. So originally, Easter came into being as the celebration of the rising of Christ, of Jesus, when he rose from the dead 3 days after he was crucified. So that's what Easter was celebrating, this renewal, this rebirth, this proof that this was the king for the Christian community. And so that happened 3 days after the crucifixion. Now, if you think back a little bit, the Last Supper was actually the first day of Passover. Traditionally, they celebrated this resurrection on the day that it actually happened. So it was in the middle of the Jewish holidays. And when Constantine came into power and wanted to separate all things Christian from all things Jewish, that's when the date of Easter changed. But if we look at that, it's still about renewal. It's still about rebirth. That's kind of an underlying theme that we're going to find with Easter through many cultures, through many years, through many traditions. There's this idea of renewal and rebirth. What about some of the other symbols? Well, see, the word Easter. Originally, it was thought that the word Easter came from a goddess, a Store, I want to say it was, something along those lines. I remember Reverend David talking about it in years past when we've done the Rap with the Revs on Easter. Oh, I missed that today, David. I so miss that. But a story but there's really no proof of that. But there is a word that's an ancient word that means rebirth and renewal. That is very, very closely resembling Easter. So it's actually believed that that's where the word Easter has come from. The eggs were used in ancient civilizations to honor rebirth, to honor birth, to honor newness. They were sacred, and they were given as gifts back and forth. So that's where the eggs come from. Well, what about the new clothes? Well, there again, it's newness, it's renewal, it's bringing something new in. So we're looking at rebirth, renew, refresh, and it's going on in the world. So my friends up in Wisconsin, they've been sending me pictures. First it was the tulips coming up and they were going, yay! And then it's the snow coming down, they're going, ah! And then the tulips pushing through the snow, yay! You know, that's the way it is in Wisconsin this time of year. It's all over the place. My birthday's at the end of this month, and I can't tell you how many times I remember walking to school or home from school, you know, with the cupcakes for the class and stuff on my birthday, and it was snowing out, end of April. Not unusual in Wisconsin. But here in Florida, it's quite different. This is our dry season. It's very, 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 very dry right now. And if you look outside, it looks like everything's dead. The lawns are all brown, everything's dead. So it's different regionally. But we're about to step into the time of great green space out here in Florida. Starting in May and June, our summer rains come back. And then we become just this lush, green, beautiful, tropical paradise that you think of Florida as being. Right now, it's dry, it's dead, it's, you know, similar to Wisconsin, but for a different reason. It's hot here, and there's no rain. So in Wisconsin, of course, they're coming out of the winter. Our friends up in Connecticut have been sending pictures of their azaleas coming up. So all over the world, there's this transition going on. It's an opportunity of rebirth, renewal. Rebirth and renewal. So in doing research for this, I, of course, went to Ernest Holmes, my favorite, and I found this beautiful, beautiful poem that he wrote. And I want to share it with you. It's called You. This is from a book for all seasons by Ernest Holmes, and it was under the section entitled Spring. You are as old as yesterday, as young as today, and as new as tomorrow. You are as old as last night's setting sun, as young as the dawn of today, as new as your interest in living. You are as old as your fear of life, as young as your faith and hope, as vital as your enthusiasm. You are as old as your memory of hurt, as young as your expectation of good, as buoyant as your joy in accomplishing. You are as old as your doubt, as young as your dreams, and as strong as your convictions. So let the rising sun of this new day bring light and laughter into your life and guide you to your heart's desire. What a stunning poem, isn't it? To me, it speaks of this thing I'm calling rebirth, renewal, and really guiding us in saying that rebirth and renewal is not something that happens on its own. Rebirth and renewal is a choice. And we have the opportunity to rebirth ourselves, renew ourselves, refresh ourselves in every single moment. Every single moment we have this choice. Let's break this down a little bit. We're going to unpack this a little bit. You are as old as yesterday, as young as today, and as new as tomorrow. If that doesn't say renewal in every minute, we have the opportunity to be birthed again in every moment, and every moment can make us younger, 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 or age us hugely, our choice. You are as old as last night's setting sun, as young as the dawn of today, and as new as your interest in living. As new as your interest in living. Are we interested in what can emerge as this day, right now, given all these circumstances? Are we interested in the good that can be here this day, right now? Interested, great word. You are as old as your fear of life, as young as your faith and hope, as vital as your enthusiasm. One of the most powerful stanzas in this thing, you are as old as your fear of life. We know people who shrivel up and die quite young because they're afraid to live because of a circumstance that's got them. You can have a circumstance, or the circumstance can have you. Your choice. We are as old as our fear of life. We are as old as our fear of life. We are as young as our faith and hope. So I am encouraging us to have faith and hope for what is unfolding right now, right here in this world. I have such faith and hope that something grand is emerging, and I'm seeing evidence of this all over the place, and I hope you are too. And as vital as our enthusiasm, we can be enthusiastically hope-filled. Let's do this. Let's be enthusiastically hope-filled about what is emerging. You are as old as your memory of hurt. You are as young as your expectation of good. You are as buoyant as your joy in accomplishing. As old as our memory of hurt. One of my favorite Mary Morrissey quotes is, you can live 50 years or you can live 1 year 50 times. The choice is ours. And we've both, we've all done both. We've all experienced both. And we all have the initiative and the way and the path to rebirth into a new experience every single moment. It's our choice. You are as old as your doubts, as young as your dreams, and as strong as your convictions. As strong as your convictions. If we move forward in the direction of something we're dreaming, knowing that it's ours, regardless of what's going on in the outside world, guess what? Nothing, no thing can stop you. Nothing. You have the entire universe at your back, 24/7, saying yes to everything we are saying yes to. So let the rising sun of this new day bring light and laughter into your life and guide you to your heart's desire. That is my wish for each and every one of you. Let the rising sun of this new Easter day bring light and laughter into your life and guide you to your heart's desire. I want you to live the life that you're dreaming of living, dreaming of having. And you can do it here, even in these circumstances. You can start right now with a different framework, with a different way of thinking. Beautiful poem, Ernest Holmes. I have one more reading, of course, from Holmes. And this is what he opened this spring writings with. The world is saturated with divinity. It's immersed in reality, and it's filled with possibility. We must take this divine possibility and mold it into present actuality in every experience. This is the way to freedom, the pathway to peace and happiness. So we are saturated with divinity. God is all there is. We are immersed in reality, capital R, right where I am. All the possibilities exist right where I am. God is. I am what God is, and filled with possibility. God is pure potential. We must take this divine possibility and mold it into a present actuality in everyday experience. We can have sacred experiences each and every day, right now, right here. We can watch our greater yet to be unfold in greater ways, right here, right now, even given this circumstance. What are we doing to rebirth and renew our experience of life right here, right now? This is the pathway to freedom. Freedom is in our mind. It always has been, it always will be. No circumstance can take our freedom away. Only our thinking can take our freedom away. This is the pathway to freedom, the pathway to peace and to happiness. We create that in our minds. We can create stress, we can create anger, we can create hopelessness, or we can create hopefulness. So I invite you to renew your life today. How about we take that into prayer? So taking a moment to turn within, knowing together there is just one thing going on, one power, one presence, one life. It is this process of renewal happening over and over and over and over and over again. That is what life-seeking, full of freer expression looks like. It is the process of renewal. It is the process of rebirth. It is the process of each and every one of us stepping into our greater yet to be as only we can do it. So this is what I know, that this process of renewal, rebirth, regeneration, this process of Easter, celebrating Easter, the Easter within each and every one of us, is here now. There is such peace, such freedom, and such joy in knowing these truths. That right where we are, all the power, all the presence, all the love, all the life, all the joy, all the peace is. And it is only for us to say yes to. So I say yes to a life of peace. I say yes to a life of joy. I say yes to a celebration of something great emerging right here and right now. I'm just so grateful to know these truths, to share these truths, to live these truths. I let it be. It is anchored in mind. It is happening here in form, and I am grateful. Let us claim this together by saying, so it is, so it is, so be it. Happy Easter, happy Sunday. Blessings and peace.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Melissa Tuff, and I am the Secretary of the Leadership Council here at the Center for Spiritual Living Cape Coral. Now is our opportunity to show gratitude for all that has transpired here today, and we offer several ways for you to give. You can text your donation to 239-320-3820. You can visit our website at cslcapecoral.org and click that little donate button on our page. You can send a check to CSL Cape Coral at 406 Southeast 24th Avenue, Cape Coral, Florida, 33990, or you can set up an automatic transfer of funds on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis. So I invite you to hold your tithe between your hands if you have it available, and if not, then please just place your hands over your heart as I speak our tithing affirmation. Today, I know the activity of divine abundance is at work in my life and the life of this center. I give and receive generously as I live in the flow of bountiful good. And now I speak a word of blessing over this tithe. With appreciation and love, I accept these offerings and gifts. Divine love through me blesses each gift and each giver. I know that all has been given here today circulates to do great works both within the spiritual community and the world at large. Standing in gratitude, I release these words. So I invite you to join me by saying, and so it is. Amen. Namaste. Thank you all for joining us.
Here we go. There have been dark times in my life. There were times I could hardly see. There were times when it seemed like the whole wide world shut off its light for me. There were times that I felt so bad. Despair had taken its toll, like I was shut up in a windowless room, a dark night of the soul. That's when I saw the beacon of light. I saw the beacon of hope. I felt the tower of strength, giving me the power to cope, lighting up my path, showing me the proof. It was there all the time, the lighthouse of truth. Now when the sun seems to disappear, storm clouds fill the skies, I know hope is always near. I just have to open my eyes. It stands taller than the tree. Its light is shining true over the raging sea. Isn't the promise for me and you? On and on, illuminating where I need to go. Never is it faltering, ever does it glow. When I think about how I got here, I sometimes wonder about the change in me, from a person who lived in fear to the person who is living free. If I just keep moving ahead, living life day by day, accepting my daily bread, with the truth to light my way, that's when I'll see the beacon of light, I'll see the beacon of hope, I'll feel the tower of strength, giving me the power to cope, lighting up my path, showing me the proof. It was there all the time, the lighthouse of truth. Yes, it was there all the time, the lighthouse of truth.
Hello. Now it's time to stand in the light. Now we're going to do this virtually, so what I'm going to invite you to do is either in the comments, if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube, there's a place where you can put comments in, put your standing in the light in there, or I invite you to go to our website, cslcapecoral.org. You'll see a button on the top. If you're on your phone, there will be these 3 little lines on the side, and you can click on there and that'll give you the menu. Go to where it says prayer or prayer request, put in what you're standing in the light for so that our entire prayer team can stand in the light with you, knowing the truth. So as always, I'm standing in the light for my entire family. I love them all. I should just hide a basket for Leland this Easter just to carry on the tradition and see if I can outsmart my husband here. I'm standing in the light for my barky dogs, which maybe you just heard. He's wanting some attention right now. I'm standing in the light for my little precious. I am standing in the light for each and every person in my community. I so love and miss you, and I am grateful for this opportunity to virtually connect with you. I'm standing in the light for my extended family and friends, knowing that they are whole, perfect, and complete. I'm standing in the light for Jeff, knowing that this transition is met with peace, poise, and all joy, grace. Grace. So what are you standing in the light for? Please write it in one of the comment sections and the prayer requests. Let me speak a short blessing over this portion. I know that each and every one of the requests that has been made here in Standing in the Light has been spoken into an open mind that always says yes. Yes to peace, yes to poise, yes to the perfection that is its nature. And I know that everything and everyone is leaving this celebration uplifted, up-leveled, and changed because we were here together. I'm so grateful for all of these truths that I let it be and anchor them by saying, and so it is. See you next week.